Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Home Away from YouTube. Today we have with us CJ11 Games. Now, CJ11 Games has actually been on Home Away from YouTube for quite a while. It's been a while, hasn't it, CJ?
Yeah, it's been like a couple of years, I would say.
Yeah.
I've been in this Discord.
Yeah. And I know you were around when I first got on here, so and I've been on for about 2.5 years. Roughly about that. With us, we have darker things and Jen. Now, well, I believe that's what he's going by now. I think he added Jen at the end of it. Now he's darker things and Jen's, and he says he's ready. He seems closer to 3 than when he started seeing you. So I'd agree with that. It's been before I got there. So I introduced you, CJ. Darker Things and Jen's is here. Before we get started, I'd like for you to take a moment and tell everybody a little bit about your background, what got you started in gaming, things like that. What games interest you and stuff of that nature, okay? So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you and just kind of give us a little history on your gaming and where it all started and stuff like that.
Well, the first memory that I can think of is when I used to watch my mum play the old Crash Bandicoot games, like Crash 1 on the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
So, she always used to play those back in the day when I was 2 or 3 years old. That's how old those games are. And I remember one time I just wanted to go, she showed me how to play, and that's the first time I ever held a controller and started playing a game. But what really got me into gaming was back when I first tried out playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original, back in 2009. Because my dad was playing it, and he asked me if I wanted to go. So I did, and then I ended up playing through the entire Modern Warfare 2 campaign and enjoying it so much. So then I got my own console, which was an Xbox 360, and was playing a lot of games, some Call of Duty, some Lego Star Wars. I was mainly into a lot of Lego games when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I was playing Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, just all that. Playing a lot of wrestling games, because I'm also a wrestling fan myself, so all the old SmackDown vs. Raw games, some of the 2K games. And then I noticed that when I was about 17, 18, that I could maybe make this into a thing and do it for YouTube. And so I started doing it, and obviously doing that and also being at college at the same time wasn't really helping the schedule. And so I was getting really stressed out that I couldn't do one or the other. And then once the lockdown hit, and we were all stuck inside, that's when I realised that now would be the best time to try and get my channel into full throttle mode, and it helped a lot. And that's kind of why I am at where I am today. So lockdown kind of really helped, which a lot of people said wouldn't really happen, because lockdown for a lot of people was kind of like hell. But if it wasn't for lockdown, I don't think I'd be at where I am right now.
That's good. At least there's one positive thing that came out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't hear too many people on the internet talking about how the positive things that actually happened to them from being at home and not being able to go out and do stuff. So it's good to hear that. Now, you said that you started out with your mom playing retro games, and how are you on retro games today? Are you still into them? And if you are, what kind of retro games do you still play?
I still try and play out a lot of the retro Resident Evil games, the ones that don't have remakes. So I've played through the original Resident Evil 4. I still need to get the remake for that. Played through the OG RE2, RE3, and they are all really good games, like games that I really enjoyed. And it shows how much gaming back then was a lot different than it is now.
Yeah.
I still like try and play through the old Crash games as well because they're like my childhood games.
Now, do you play the original version or the remake that they did on Steam?
The original.
Oh, the original. Good. That's awesome. So, when it comes to playing these, have you had any experience with using emulators and stuff when it comes to playing these games?
Have not, but my mum and dad have like told me stuff about it and that how like it can like work and how it can be used.
Okay.
I never actually got to use one, but I got like sort of like a bit brief understanding on how it works, kind of.
Okay. I just figured I'd ask you because that's a whole nother avenue of questions that we could get into. I actually took a year to kind of go through them because somebody mentioned them to me, and well, my brother, he talked to me about it, and then my son showed me how to set them up, and I went through for a year, checking out the different emulators and stuff. So that's why I brought it up to you and seeing if you were doing it. Now,
Yeah.
You mentioned Crash Bandicoot. Is there any particular reason why you chose to play the original over the newer, updated one that they did on Steam? Is there like a reason why you chose to do that instead of the Steam version?
I mean, I've given the remaster one a go, but I feel like something about the OG, it just brings back a lot of nostalgia memories, and I feel like that's the main reason why I chose that one, is because it's the game that pretty much got me into gaming, and it just holds a special place in my heart.
All right. Now, Darker Things has a question. He's as a content creator. He says, I am a person who is big on the details. Are there any stats that have influenced how and what you post?
Any stats?
Yeah.
Can you like further evaluate on that? 'Cause I need to like...
Yeah, any Darker Things, can you elaborate on that? Kind of give us an idea of what you mean by that? Now, he has a second one. I can come back to that one, but he says, when my son finds a classic game, especially through an emulator, we are trying them out. Now, he says, when you revisit a retro game, is it still just as fun, or is there something missing for you?
Well, obviously playing retro games, it's a bit difficult at first to get used to because you're so used to like the newer versions of games, like the new controls, new like mechanics. So it takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, it feels like you're basically playing the game nowadays. So it's like with the old Resident Evil, like playing through that, it was quite hard to get used to, but once I did get used to it, I was going through the game just like that, and it was very fun to play, very enjoyable.
Yeah. For me, I had issues with the controller. Like I didn't realize how much I had forgotten when it came to like the differences in the controllers and how they were back then to what they are now. That really threw me off. So I can relate on that.
Yeah.
So on the first question, he elaborated. He said, do you use YouTube Studio to analyze views and times when people are watching videos, or which videos seem to get more traction versus another video?
Not really. I do use YouTube Studio to see like how the videos are doing, what I can do to like improve this and that, but I don't really like use it to see what videos get more like traction. I just like to see what happens and see what needs to be done, and just move forward from that.
Yeah, I keep an eye on them too, but I don't really generally rely on them. I think it was just because I got to the stage where I don't really look at myself as actually being able to be, monetized. So I just said to heck with it. I'm not gonna invest too much time on getting too technical with it,
Yeah, which is
Um,
understandable.
So he says that he understands what you mean about the mechanics. He moved from a PlayStation controller to an Xbox controller for the PC gaming, and it threw him off at first. So I guess we all agree on that. Now, on the Resident Evil, all right, you said your first one was Resident Evil 2, right?
I think
Okay.
4 was my first one.
First.
The original 4.
The original part 4. Okay, so
Yeah.
with that game, that's one of them that I really want to ask you about. Did you like the new remake that they did on Steam for that game?
Yet to play yet, but I've seen like gameplay of it, and that compared to the original, like you can definitely see like the differences they've made.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remake that the RE fan base have been asking for like the longest time,
Mm-hmm.
because Resident Evil 4 is probably like one of the most fan favorited of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So to see what they've done with that game, like the improved character models, the combat, the like general area, it seems they've done a very good job, and it makes me even more excited to play it whenever I get the chance to and experience the game once again.
I agree with you 100%. I was just wanting to be general about the question because I didn't want to influence it. I just wanted to get your honest opinion of it, but I agree with it. That's one of the few remakes I can honestly say they did a good job on. They really did. So
Yeah, because remakes can be a hit or miss
Yeah.
sometimes nowadays.
really, you got that right. Now, Darker Thing and Jens has a third question. He says, AI seems to be in the center of a lot of conversations. YouTube has announced they are going to be making sweeping changes in how people will be able to use it. As the AI advances change how you present any of your gaming content, or are you unaffected by it?
I'm probably unaffected by it. Any changes that gets brought in with the AI and stuff, if it gives me the opportunity to use it or anything, I'm probably not going to, because I've been so used to doing it the way that I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably going to stick to the way I know how to do it. So if any of the AI stuff comes in, I'm just going to keep it to the side as much as I can.
Okay. So since he brought it up, I might as well go ahead and ask, what is your take on AI and how it's being used today? How do you feel about it?
I'm kind of like 50-50 on it. I can see why people like it and why some people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like in the middle. Like, I don't want to be one of those people that likes it or really dislikes it. So yeah, I'm just kind of neutral about the whole AI thing.
Yeah. I can see some of the benefits too, but like I've been keeping an eye on the thing that was going on with the SAGs for the SAG awards and all that, and they had that strike with the actors, and the actors in the games and stuff were having issues with AI stealing their likeness and stuff like that. So I can understand all that, but at the same time, I can see where it is a good tool if it's used properly. So I'm right there in maybe the 50-70% level, you know. So now, Resident Evil 4 was hard to come by without a console and without the remake. So if you are a completionist, it was a must-have. That was my follow-up question. No, yeah, Resident Evil. That's why he made a comment for. Now, so if you're a completionist, is it no? Was it a must-have? Is I guess what he's saying there.
I mean, I'm not really complete. If I only really would try and 100% a game if I'm like really, really enjoying it, because there's a lot of games on console that are very difficult to like try and 100% or get a platinum trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to Resident Evil 4, if I ever do get it, I will probably try and go for all the trophies, but I know that some of them will probably be very, very like harsh or tedious, as the word is online.
Yeah.
But it's like my first ever time I full on completed a game was when I was going through Ghost of Tsushima. I like enjoyed that game so much, and I was like, it's one of those games where when the story ends, you're like really sad because you want to keep playing the game. So I just went through, did everything, and then I ended up getting all the trophies, which then equaled me with a platinum trophy.
Yeah. With I know from what I've seen with the new challenges and stuff they have. My son did some of them on the village, and some of that stuff is just insane. You know what I mean? It really is. So on like the trophies and everything, when it comes to that, I'm okay with getting trophies, but I'm not going to try to push it. So I don't think I'm a completionist either, or a 100%er.
Yeah, I'd only do it if I like really enjoy the game.
It'd have to be something amazing. So now he there we go. Okay, he says he primarily uses AI to help his edits and his thumbnails and whatnot, but not in the actual generation of his content. No, he played around with AI voices and most outside of thumbnails. No, he played with voices the most outside of thumbnails. Now his question is, when it comes to gaming, there is a debate out there when streaming or recording that you have to play on the most difficult settings possible. Is this true for you as a content creator?
I mean, I don't really tend to play on the hardest difficulty because I know I'm probably going to put myself through hell. And I feel like going through that on a playthrough just wouldn't be the best. So when it comes to me playing games on the channel, I tend to always go with like the medium, like the medium difficulty. So it's not going to be too easy, but it's also not going to be too hard. So I mean, I actually will be able to get through the game and finish it and not be stuck on a certain part for hours, pretty much. Yeah, I'm more the person that will just play like the medium difficulty.
He says, same fist bump. I choose medium, but New Gen chooses hardest. So,
fair enough for him.
I think it really is for me the same thing. I usually don't even call it medium. I just say default. Like when I start the game, I don't go in there and purposely change the settings. So whenever you see me playing, if I'm changing the settings, it's because it's too hard and I'm doing a stream, and that's on rare occasions, but usually it's the settings that I get it in. I don't really mess around with it. And like when they suggest that I go down one, it makes me mad. I say screw you, and I decline the offer to drop down to the easiest level. I'll get through it. So, I wanted to bring up another thing. Now, you were talking about when you got older, you started getting interested in playing games because you sat down with your dad. Now, was that Resident Evil? You said because it was kind of cloudy there with me being able to understand what the game was. You said it was.
The game was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was watching him play.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about that game? Because I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Well, there's two versions of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, because they recently redid the games in last few years or so. But it's been getting a lot of heat because apparently it's just not really as good as the OGs. Most people saying, which I personally agree with. I feel like the OG 3 Call of Duty Modern Warfare games will always be top tier, always be some of the best. I just feel like Call of Duty as a whole has kind of had a fall off lately, from the last few years. The games just haven't hit the same as they used to back in the day. So, this year is the first time I haven't purchased a Call of Duty game in forever. I can't remember the last time I didn't purchase a Call of Duty game this year or that year. So it just shows how much I'm not really into it as much as I used to. So I'm hoping from next year they can bring out a game that people will actually enjoy.
I can't believe I didn't realize you was talking about Call of Duty. And I'm sorry about that. It took a little bit of you talking for me to figure out what you were saying. Call of Duty, yeah. Call of Duty 2, I haven't gone back over yet. I just finished up on COD 4. And it just brought back so much memories. I used to play that with my nephews, and especially my little one, Tai Tai. He used to kill me with a freaking survival knife. You know what I mean? He was maybe 6 years old, and he was just killing me. And the reason why I had to stop playing was I just don't like using cuss words with my 6-year-old little nephew. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I had to put a stop to that, so I took a break from it. And here recently, I played that one, and I actually wanted to get back into Call of Duty 2 next year, which brings me to the topic of have you ever heard of the Wolfpack and what they've got going on with the emulator, where you can go in and play Call of Duty 2 and I think 3 or 4, one of the two, and it's like an emulator of an actual well, like you're going live and you're playing multiplayer. Have you ever heard of that yet?
I don't think I have heard of that, no.
Okay.
I probably should look into it now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. The guy who is doing it, he goes by Ease or EZZ, and he also has another Discord channel on here where he has general chat and YouTube uploads and stuff for the Wolfpack. And here in a little bit, if you want to, I can send you a link to him so you can go check them out if you want to. So that was one thing that I think is something that might get me back into it. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I just finished the 4th edition, and it brought good memories back to me. I love that game. So
yeah, considering it was originally just meant to be a remaster that went with another Call of Duty game, but more people played the remaster instead of the game that actually was meant to be released that year.
now, let's see. Darker Things has another question. He says, "Who has inspired you the most as a gamer content creator?"
I've mentioned this before, but the gaming, like, Let's Play creator or gaming creator I've watched the most would be the Rad Brad.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a lot of his playthroughs, a lot of his videos, and I don't know, just watching him has made me want to do it myself. Just play games, commentate over it, and then just see how it goes. And like, I've been enjoying it so much, doing it over the last 3 years, that I just want to, keep doing it and just not stop. I'll probably still be doing it in the next few years.
Cool. Now, is he the one, or is there somebody else out there that is somebody that you'd strive to be like? Is there somebody that you're trying to strive to be like on YouTube, or as a content creator?
I wouldn't say I'm striving to be like someone, because I feel like if you're striving to be like someone, then I would say it's like you're trying to copy them, but it's kind of like you're trying to be like them. And if I want to be someone on YouTube, I kind of want to just be me. So like, just be not, when people look at me, they want to be like, okay, no, he's just being himself. He's not trying to be someone else.
That sounds good.
Because I don't know, I've seen a lot of people, and I'm not going to not drop any names because I don't want to start anything, but like people who are trying to be exactly like another person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like if I'm just going to continue doing this, I want to just be like known as myself, not just trying to be someone else.
Exactly.
If that makes any sense.
Exactly. I've actually had conversations with some of the people I network with about this, and like, I think a lot of creators get that mixed up when it comes, because you'll hear them say you need to sell yourself, you know what I mean? And people don't really understand what they're saying there. Like, you don't try to create a persona of somebody else and then become that person. You have to literally sell yourself, be yourself, and eventually people will come along who like who you are, you know what I mean? And I think that's really hard for a lot of content creators to grasp. Just be yourself, play your games, the games you like. Don't go chasing after the #1 listed game on Steam, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he also asked, when it comes to gaming, I was slow to discover the modding of games. This sometimes creates unfair advantages in competition style games, especially shooters like COD and Fortnite. What are your feelings on mods as a creator and gamer?
I feel like with mods, it's better to do them when you're playing like single player games, because then there won't be anything to like, how do I word this? On multiplayer games, if you're modding, then obviously just kind of proves you're cheating, because I've seen a lot of people in Fortnite, Call of Duty, always kind of use mods to like make themselves invincible or get like loads of like health, which means they're basically unkillable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is basically cheating in the game, and that could get you banned. I feel like if you want to use mods, it's always best to do them on like single player games, because like for Grand Theft Auto, I've seen a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5 modding videos where you can like make yourself a different character, you can just make your game look better. I think that kind of modding is cool, but when doing it in multiplayer games to make yourself play better, I feel like that's just the wrong way to use mods, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I had a hard time with mods at first. I was like Darker Things, and I felt uncomfortable with them. And I, believe it or not, and I know this is goofy, but I first actually took a chance with mods on Minecraft. And I know people don't like hearing the capital M, you know what I mean? But I'm sorry, but that's where I came from. I had nephews and nieces. That's the best I can say about it. But that's where I first started introducing them, and I actually have to say there is an advantage to them, and it is nice using them. That's the only reason too why I even started using them on Skyrim. But I don't know. That's kind of why I want to do the Modern Warfare or the Call of Duty too, with the ease setup that I was telling you about, so I could try them out. And I don't know. I'll have to move into that on my own. I don't know how comfortable I'll feel about that. So
Yeah.
Now, let's see. He responded with, "Awesome. Being authentic is the best. No sniper wolf up in here." Okay. Organic growth requires you to be yourself. You will only be able to keep up a persona for so long, which that is a good point to make. I mean, like keeping a persona up is hard work, in my opinion. What do you feel about that? Do you think if you had a persona on YouTube, it'd be harder for you to keep that up rather than just being yourself?
Yeah, because if you look at a good example, you look at someone like Jacksepticeye, who back in the day was like this loud, very loud Irish YouTuber who like always like cussed up a storm, like was just always shouting and stuff. But when like you put on that persona, it can also be difficult at some points. But then sometimes YouTube can make some changes where like you can't, be that persona, and just like. This is why Jacksepticeye isn't like kind of like who he used to be, where he's now just the more like chill version of himself, where he's just like not as loud and he just like speaks in a normal manner. So I feel like sometimes YouTube could just, with their new community updates or community guidelines, whatever the hell they are, can sometimes mess up your plans for your persona, which means you have to either stop using the persona or just try and work some way around it so you can still use it, which is why I try and stick to just being myself, because I don't want to risk me having a persona, but then when that happens, which means I can't use it anymore, and it means a lot of change will have to happen.
Yeah. Now, he also goes on to say, when it comes to modding, he agrees with us. Fist bumps all around. He said Nugent, which is his son, using mods. He's using mods for Minecraft 2, and he thinks he used it most as a single player in MB2K 2021, but stopped using them altogether. So now, with that being said, you also mentioned being in college. I don't know if it'd be too personal for you, but could you tell us a little bit about your college career, what you're doing, kind of give us a chance to know you on a personal level? You don't have to get too much into it, but just so everybody knows a little bit about you. What kind of courses and stuff are you taking?
Well, for the course I was taking, it's because I was finishing up the exams with my secondary school, and my secondary school, it was alright, but it wasn't the place that I like was really full on enjoying towards the latter end of what could have been my last year there. So I knew that the possibility was you could either head off to a college to do your last few years of education, or you could stay at that secondary school for the next like 2 or 3 years. And I was pulling towards more of going to the college to like finish up my education, but the only like course I could take was like a healthcare course. But I was like, yeah, sure, because you never know, that could be fun and open up a lot of opportunities for you in the future. So I took that and ended up, had a really good time there. I met a lot of people that I still talk to nowadays. So in turn, it ended up being the correct decision for me and going to college instead of staying in my secondary school.
Okay. So, what courses are you taking? I mean, what are you learning?
I mean, I finished college like 2 years ago now.
Oh,
So yeah,
what was your
but I was
field?
there from like 2018 to like 2021.
Are you into, like, what did you go to school for?
Well, school was like well, my secondary school was like the main school subjects you have to learn, like like your maths or like your maths, your English, all that stuff.
Hmm.
When I went to college for like 3 years, that was for the healthcare course.
Okay, cool. So you're into healthcare?
It's the thing that I would like. It's like I wouldn't say it's the end game goal, but it's like an option for the future. If it ever comes around, then I'll go for it.
There you go. It's a really honorable job to get into. I mean, a career. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You could become a doctor and help people. That there's there's really no better type of field to be in when it comes to that, because you're actually helping people and trying to do better in the world. So I'll give you kudos on that. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
Okay, so now when it does come to like all of these newer games, um, do you have a quirk when it comes to them? Is there something that you don't really feel at ease about when it comes to them, like just anything in general?
Uh, Not really. Not really much when it comes to new games. Not really much really bothers me.
No.
I mean, the only thing you could feel like could bother you is if like you are looking forward to this game for like the longest time,
Mhm.
and then when it releases, it's like the most unplayable mess in the world.
Yeah. See,
Because like you could say, Cyberpunk from when it first released was the most unplayable thing in the world. Like it was always crashing, it was always like glitching. It was basically you could not play it to save your life if you had like a PS4. So, but it's good to see nowadays that it is like one of the best looking games in the world, and a lot of people are enjoying it. So it just shows that even though it didn't have a good start, the developers kept faith in it, and now it is one of the most played games in the entire world, and it's a game that I want to eventually play.
Yeah, and I remember when my son started playing it, he had he'd played it. I think it was about a year ago, and like it had potential. Don't get me wrong, but I know it frustrated him because of all that stuff. You know what I mean? Even in the crappy version of it, the graphics still look nice. You know what I mean? In my opinion, but
Yeah, graphics look right.
but it was really annoying for him. Like it kept crashing on him, and he'd get frustrated because he doesn't like when his computer crashes. It just drives him nuts. So I can understand that. Now, the reason why I brought that up was because I've noticed like RJ and all of them always keep talking about these game awards and stuff, and Cyberpunk was one of the games that a lot of people are talking about too. Now, do you think that even though they did update it and make it better, do you think they're going to be able to get people to come back in and play the game again?
I mean, I've heard like a lot of people are coming back to play the game because they released like a whole DLC for it a couple of months ago, which means like additional content. And I heard that at one point this year it was the most played. I don't know what month it was, but like the most played game of that month.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen a bit of like the DLC for Cyberpunk. A lot of people are playing it because Idris Elba is one of the main characters of the DLC, and obviously he's like one of the most well-known actors out there in the world. So,
Yeah.
so seeing that it's getting the recognition nowadays, as a lot of people are enjoying it. It just makes like the game like a happy ending
Yeah.
after having like a really bad start.
Yes. And that's one thing I've been thinking about too, is revisiting it, because um, I did like what I seen. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I have seen it. And I was impressed with it before they did the updates, but I didn't have a chance to actually play it. So maybe this time, whenever I'm actually playing it, I won't have to put up with all the stuff. So now, Darker Things came back with another question. People often talk about the importance of regularly scheduled uploads. Have you found this to be true with your content creator journey? Have you ever had to force hiatus from posting? Have you ever had a forced hiatus from posting?
Well, first of all, like I feel like having a schedule is important because then you always know like you can have a certain time, a certain date. So it means the days you know you won't be uploading, you can use that for like spare time, or just time to like just chill out with family, or just do what you want really. Because like I used to have an upload schedule. During my last few months in college, I had an upload schedule of where I used to upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I had the Tuesday, Thursday, and the weekend off. Just do whatever I wanted. Nowadays, I try and like post every 2 to 3 days. Obviously, I have like a IRL job, and obviously sometimes with that, it makes it difficult to like have a schedule because you don't know what days you're going to work, what days you're not going to work, so it makes it a bit more difficult. But the fact that I've been able to have this job but still find time and work out days I will be able to post makes it like feel a lot better. And about hiatus, you do, I feel like every YouTuber's been through this where you feel like you almost get like burnt out of doing it and you just need like a mental break. I had one of them like a couple of years ago. I just felt like I wasn't enjoying doing YouTube as much. I felt like I need like a mental break, so I took like a week or two off, and that was really needed. And then I came back, and I've been back to enjoying it ever since.
Good. I have that happen every once in a while, but like I've had to literally focus on just ignoring it because like I don't know if you've noticed, but like I post like crap loads of videos, you know what I mean? And for me, I do it so much that it becomes a routine and it's just repetition to me. And I notice like when a lot of people do repetitious things, it kind of makes what you're interested in not too interesting, So
yeah,
I've actually, when I'm in the middle of projects, I've literally come to the point where I've had to also just say, look, man, just work through it and just be done with it because it's just a thought. It's something that's bugging you. So just work it, get it done. But there's times where I've also had to take a break too. So I do understand that. Now, Unplayable Cyberpunk, Darker Things agrees, and he says it was like, why do we waste our money on it, is initially what he was saying. Now, he goes on to ask his question, and he says, Roger mentioned that graphics showed the promise in Cyberpunk, and I am big on background music. SFX, is there anything where it comes to gaming that makes or breaks the experience for you?
Obviously, when it comes to games with graphics, I will always try and point them out as much as I can, because like if you're playing the game, most people say like about the graphics, but how like really good it is and how much they're only going to get better in years to come. Also, as you said about background music, I do like my games where you're just like free roaming around and there's like just background, like these chill background music or ambience in the background. A good
Yeah.
example would be when I played The Witcher 3 for the first time, and I first got into like, the open world, and they were just playing like these like tunes in the background, like these very chill ones of like Witcher music, and it just made the experience so much better. And it shows why The Witcher 3, even though it came out in 2015, is still one of the best games to ever come out, and is one of my favorite games that I've ever played.
See, I might have to check that out too, because I tried to watch through TV series they had for The Witcher, and I just could not seem to get through it. I always would end up falling asleep, you know. So, and I have no idea, because it's an excellent, you know, TV series and stuff, but I haven't been able to get onto the game and actually play it. So maybe that'll stop me from doing it. I don't know. Now, Darker Things agrees with Kiana and Idris participating in Cyberpunk, and he says that that's what's selling him into returning to check out the game too. So, and he says that he's willing to do it after the updates are in place, or now that the updates are in place. So, now, when it comes to posting, we are sporadic. This is Darker Things. He says having the channel be something that we are both supposed to be on screen for has impacted us as of late. Old channel has lots of content. Our new channel, not so much. Thank you for talking about Burnout. New Gen loves the Witcher series, the games, and the show. He has read the books too. So that's what he has to say. Now,
He's a super Witcher fan.
Yeah. Now, I do have something to ask you that I think is important. And you said that you were into Xbox 360 when you was younger, right?
Yep, that's the first console I probably had.
What do you feel about them closing shop on July the 29th next year? Are you aware of that?
Well, they're stopping like online, or like just stopping selling 360s.
No, I mean all games, everything. It's done.
No, I haven't heard of that. No,
Yeah.
it's the first time I'm hearing of this.
Right whenever I was checking out everything on the IAs and stuff, I was also doing research into emulators and finding out like legal stuff when it comes to them. And that's when I ran into the article that was talking about it, where Xbox 360's stores are closing as of July the 29th, 2024. So, what's your thoughts about that?
Well, for someone who obviously started in that console, that does sound a bit, bittersweet, because a lot of people like who were born around like my time or like early 2000s, that was normally like the first proper console that they started with, if not PS3. Yeah, to see that the shop set's closing down is sad, but you can't like keep it open forever, because obviously a lot more consoles are going to come up nowadays, or like in the next coming years. So probably won't be a lot of 360s purchased, because more like of that newer consoles will probably be purchased. So I can understand why they would do it, but also it's very sad and bittersweet.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe Steam will step up and start recognizing it, because maybe come up with an agreement with Microsoft and stuff, because like there's going to be tons of games that are just going to be completely lost because of this happening, you know what I mean? there's I think they said like over 60% of their games, 60 or 70% of their games is not even on computer. You know what I mean? It's all console. So from that point on, all those games are going to be lost. And I think that is tragic. And playing them on emulators right now, I can tell you from experience, it's a horrible experience. It's not the same as if you are on the actual console playing them, because their emulators suck for Xbox 360. And if it comes down to it, I guess I could play them on the emulator, but I wouldn't enjoy it. It's not the same as playing an Xbox 360, you know. So
Yeah.
because there's a few games that I really wish I never did that with. It ruined my first time experience. So, well, before we end, I'm gonna have to ask if the Darker Things wants to say any questions and stuff. He made some comments here. He says New Gen loves the Witcher series. Okay, I got that. He says closing shop on the Xbox 360. Why I had not yet heard of it. That is tragic. Then old school for me though. Really, because my first console was Atari 2600. You gotta understand, he's really old. He's not young like I am. So he's one of those old dogs from the 80s. And he says,
Fair enough.
I can think of the Warriors and lots of Tony Hawk games, tons of stuff. Yeah, I actually was doing the Warriors. That's a cult classic. And Tony Hawk, I mean, you'd have to be an idiot if you never played Tony Hawk. You know what I mean? That's without saying. I mean, that's iconic. And it's all going to be gone. But have you ever had the chance to play Atari? Any of the old Atari games? Going back to the retro?
I haven't, but I have played like the Tony Hawk games, and I don't know, something about them, like it's just so fun, just going around and just free roaming, doing tricks and stuff.
Yeah. Actually, Darker Things actually brought up a good thing that I should be asking. And another thing that I should be asking, I ask everybody this. First thing is, what's with your name? Can you give us a little explanation why you decided to call yourself CJ11?
Well, CJ is my initials, so that's why I decided to start with that. Number 11 kind of has two reasons. Number 11 is for also the year 2011, which personally has been was personally my favorite year of all time. Like, still nothing has beaten it. Like, a lot of really cool things happened in 2011 that I really enjoyed, where like I went abroad for the first time. My dad and mum had went on a school trip for the first time. Just a lot of really cool stuff happened in 2011. And also the other reason was for 11 was for when I turned 11. Like, a lot of really cool things happened when that happened. That was when I first started secondary school. So when I was first going to as what Mum called it, big boy school, which I didn't like at first. I thought it was a bit annoying. I should get calling it big boy school. I'll just stop. You know, it just, when I turned 11, I feel like that was the first steps to me becoming an adult and to who I am today. So that's where number 11 came from.
Okay, now the game's SYT, I should probably add that in too, because it technically is on your name there. Games is without saying what that's all about, but is there any meaning with the SYT?
Games, it's not really, I put it all together because I feel like having it all spaced out will look a bit odd.
Oh,
It's basically
yeah.
is just CJ11, and then it's just games, because I play games on YouTube,
Okay.
and
Gotcha.
YT is for YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. That is my question, but his is something that I was always wanting to ask him. What changes do you see coming to your YouTube channel, or what game will you be playing in the near future for your channel on YouTube?
Well, since I do a playthrough, that's Let's Play channel, I focus mainly on like the story games.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a whole list on my phone of games that I'm going to be playing, and it is quite long. So I'm probably be set for the next few years of games to play. And since I only do like one game per series, that makes any sense. So like per like series I start, I only focus on that. I don't play 2 or 3 games at once on the channel, because I tried doing that a few times and it just was very difficult, and it was like making them like last longer, and I don't like to spend too long on one game unless it's a very long game, which makes sense. But if I'm spending too long on one game to like finish it on the channel, it gets me a bit stressed and a bit like burnt out, which is why I've always stuck to just doing one game as a series and focusing on that, and then when I finish that, go on to the next one.
All right. So he ended up saying, if I can make a suggestion, I would love to see you do a playthrough of The Quarry. And he said, thank you for taking part in the Roundtable. I like your channel and content. So
I appreciate that.
He said that he would suggest you play The Quarry too. So, and
yeah, I've heard of that game.
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure that's from the same devs as Until Dawn, and I made a video on Until Dawn, so I feel like doing The Quarry would also be very cool.
Now, before we end this, would you be willing to do a plug? Tell everybody how to get in contact with you, where you can be found, stuff like that.
Well, the main thing I do use Discord a lot. So obviously, my Discord for the username is just in all caps, no space, just CJ11 Games YT. That's where mainly I'm normally just hanging about. I do try and use Instagram a lot, just try and like post updates and stuff, and that's in like all lowercase, just CJ11 Games _YT. But I mean, and also if you want to find my YouTube, you can mainly find it on my Discord, where you just click on my profile and you scroll down, you'll just find all my like link stuff that I have to Discord. That's where all my stuff is, so you'll just be able to find it through that.
Okay. And I will share your contacts and everything on this Discord. Well, I keep mixing them up. I keep calling it the channel, and when I know it's actually not, or the server, when I actually know it's just a channel. But I'll put it on the channel, and that way if anybody wants to get in touch with you, get connected with you and everything, they can find you. And just to let everybody know too, he's not only got a profile here on Discord, but he's also on Home Away from YouTube. He's probably one of the oldest people that I know that's been on here, other than Zach, if I'm not mistaken. Zach was here before you, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Yeah, so, and RJ might be older than you too, if I believe correctly. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Zach, RJ, all those people were here before me.
Okay, but you're one of the old dogs. Had to pull you up out of the archive, get you up in here, do it right, because I enjoy watching your stuff, and I'm like old Jen, you know. You're one of the guys where I actually enjoyed your videos and stuff, so hope to see more of you on the server, you know, or on channel, because I've always loved watching your videos when you post them. All right.
Yeah, appreciate that.
And with that, I will end this, and I will send you a copy of this when I have it all rendered and looking good. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here, bud.
Thank you as well for allowing me to be on here.
It's our pleasure. Bye.